What's up, stokers? Good to see you. So stoked for this episode. I want to start off by saying that we are brought to you by Helix Beer Bongs, the best in the biz. They got amazing funnel technology. Check out our Helix Beer Bongs at shopcgd.com if you want to start chugging some froth. We are also brought to you, of course, by the legends at Manscape. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our dingle dongles are looking fresh and clean, because you got a dong or something like it. And you got pubes, so trim them. Summer's coming. Are you ready to unwhale your beach bod? You're in luck. Our friends at Manscaped just launched their 4th generation performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Complement your dad bod or 6-pack with a trim from the leaders in male grooming. The sun is shining and calling your name, fellas. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for hot guys summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP20. We're also brought to you by HelloFresh. You get free, fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Hop on it, guys. It's legit. Go to HelloFresh.com/GoDeep12 and use code GoDeep12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. What? Yep. Finally, we are brought to you by the legends at Mack Weldon. Dudes and ladies, dive into summer with Mack Weldon. They're reinventing men's basics with everything you need to have the best summer of your life. Mack Weldon swimwear, Vesper Polo, Maverick Tech Chino, Radius shorts, and all types of shorts and swimwear and polos are all designed to keep you comfortable, cool, and active this summer. Feel good and ramp up your casual summer style with Mack Weldon for 20% off your first order. Visit mackweldon.com/GoDeep and enter promo code GoDeep. That's mackweldon.com/GoDeep, promo code GoDeep for 20% off your first order. All right, let's start the show.
What's with deep? Going deep. Chad and JT.
Okay, put on the socks and start the engine. What's up, stokers of Stoke Nation? This is Chad Kroger coming in with the Going Deep with Chad and JT podcast. And I'm here with my compadre, Jean Thomas. What up?
Boom clap, stokers.
And we have our guest today, needs no introduction, but you might know her best as Mia Toretto. So stoked to have you on the show.
Thank
Jordana
you.
Brewster. What up?
We were a bit nervous before the pod.
Yeah, we were nervous.
Yeah, we were a little nervous. Yeah. This is a big deal for us.
Tell me why. Is it the personal
Because
public
you were going to
thing?
be
'Cause
on it.
I was
no,
like,
we were nervous because you were going to be on it.
No,
Yeah.
I understand that.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I don't
Well-
understand. I don't mean that.
Do you get
like,
nervous for interviews?
I get nervous. You know what? I get nervous when I'm not prepared for something. Like when
Right.
recently I had this campaign and I did not understand what my job was. I kept reading all this, and I'm like, there's one message in here, and I'm supposed to talk for like hours about this. How am I going to pull this off? And if I'm not prepared, I can't wing it. I'm not like one of those charming people that are like, oh, just like my sister. Like
Right,
Bella's really
Bella.
charming, and she can pull it out of her ass and perform that day, but I can't. I need to like do the prep.
I'm that way. I need to prep on most things. But podcasts, though, it's kind of a trip because you can prepare as much as you want. Like you can write down like questions, but then again, when you get into it, you're sort of like
You go on tangents, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it interesting.
Yeah, people want to hear a free-flowing conversation that sounds like a real-life one.
Totally.
Yeah. But there is a bit of performance in it.
Well, I think for me, the tricky part is like, especially with you guys, because I know you guys in real life, it's the editor, right? Like I'll have to edit myself a little bit and be like, shut the fuck up, Jordana. Like, don't tell that
No,
story.
let it rip.
Like,
Let it rip. We can edit it later. What I like to go too far in the recording, and then I can
Right.
pull it back.
Right.
Because you can't add stuff, but you can
It
always
must be-
pull it
so
out.
How do you edit? You have to hear the whole thing again.
Yeah,
and
I have to
that's-
listen to myself all the time. It's brutal.
Do you do
Yeah.
it on hikes, on walks, or do you have to sit?
No, I have to
do that?
sit like with my laptop and
That's
just watch.
really
It's good. You
difficult.
get very familiar with like your habits, some good, some bad.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you must get that. I mean, do you watch yourself? Do you like to watch movies that you're in?
I often don't, or I'll watch it once or twice, and then years will go by. I don't watch it, and then I'll have like a a shitty version of like what that experience was like, and then I'll go back 10 years later and I'll go, oh my god, that was good. Like recently I did a podcast on Fast Five. Hadn't seen it in
It's my
ages.
favorite.
It's so good. That's my favorite
really,
too.
yeah.
I rewatched it 2 weeks
amazing.
ago.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And that's when it kind of, I feel like the scale of it kind of leveled up to a degree as well.
I agree.
It got more international.
4 was in LA
Yeah.
mainly, right? I haven't seen 4 in so long.
Yeah, 4 is primarily Southern California.
4 was LA, 3 Tokyo Drift.
2 Miami, 1 Echo Park.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Long Beach.
I couldn't, you guys know more than I do. It's so bad. But when I saw 5, I was like, damn, I was really good in that film. Same thing with 1. I was
Yeah.
really good in 1.
You're tremendous. Yeah.
But when I look back, I'm always like, no, I really sucked in that. I don't know. It's like
I'm glad we're, go ahead.
Well, when the editor says we've got to cut, do you get? Because I get this like a rush of anxiety. You're like, oh god, I don't want to see. Like,
no, because I'm usually begging to see the movie. Like
Oh, you
with
wanna see it.
Justin,
Okay.
yeah. Well, this time around it was different because we were set to come out before the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and then COVID hit, and it was like, okay, now we're going to delay a year.
Yeah.
But the movie was ready, so I text Justin. I'm like, "What's up, Justin? Like, look at this. This reminded me of you." And he's like, "Jesus Christ, Jordana, like, just come out and say it." And I'm like, how's the movie coming along? And he's like, it's really good, Jordana. Like, you'll see it when you see it. But I just kept hinting at it because I was dying to see it. So I wasn't nervous. I went with my boyfriend, Mason. We watched it together.
Who's here? Mason's
Who's
over
here
there.
listening.
Mason, good friend of ours as well. Yeah.
And you guys, we owe our relationship partially to you guys.
Yeah, let's
yeah.
let's tangent that. What
Totally.
How did can we hear the origin story from your perspective?
From my perspective, so there was a period of time where we were DMing each other on Instagram, and
That's how it happens these days.
it's how it happened. Well, or that, or like Raya, which I was like, I never had to.
You didn't have to get on Raya.
I don't think I would do well. I feel like it's
I've never been on there.
right. Like
I got on recently, and I had like a month where I was like going deep into the dating apps, but then like, after a month, you're kind of like, because
is it addictive? The scrolling and the
And you've already
pictures
kind of
and
found your people.
Yeah, it's addictive, and then I kind of realized the better connections kind of come from people that you, for me at least, that I've known for a little bit, where we can sort of rekindle. That's what I've found recently.
I agree.
Yeah.
Who are you
I
talking
agree.
about?
Don't,
I'm just
don't
kidding.
worry about it.
I'm just kidding.
So my
Chad was
best-
tripping out today because someone hadn't texted him back. So
Yeah,
he was,
I was dying.
yeah,
That's
he was in his
awful.
anxiety.
How long did
yeah.
she take?
3 hours. It was like, okay. I was like, I was just on the couch. JT's like, we were working on a little pitch talk we're working on. And I was like, I can't focus, man. Because I made a joke. And then I was like, oh, maybe that didn't read as a joke.
Oh, no.
And so I was like, do I have to do the explanation? So I showed JT, and he's like,
Can you tell us the joke? Was it maybe offensive?
No, it was like, so I saw her, I bought her a taco, right? I was like, let me know how much I can Venmo you for that, minus the taco I bought you. Which I thought
It's funny.
that's a good joke, right?
It's funny, but yeah, I can see how
On text, where it's
Yeah.
oh, this guy's really.
So I was like, dude, you might have to say you were joking.
Right.
Yeah. I was on the fence. I was like, I don't know how she'll take it, but I was like, I would clarify.
So I clarified.
Oh no.
45 minutes later.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Wait, so why don't you think you would do well on Raya?
Wait, first I'd like to go back to. So
Yeah, let's
then
keep
how
going.
did she respond?
She responded with a joke back.
Okay,
about-
good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So,
So then everything was okay.
yeah, but I was like, dude, I messed it all up.
No, it's awful. And
Yeah.
then you can also check their Instagram feed and whether or not they've been
Posted.
Yeah,
right.
or been awake or live or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really horrible. Yeah, luckily I didn't have to go on any dating apps, but I wouldn't do well because I'm just not good at. I don't like dating. I don't like I don't mind putting my best face forward and being interviewed or doing that sort of stuff, but not with like. I don't know. I've been in serial relationships my whole life, so I
Right.
don't think I'd like to
That's what you're used to.
test out the waters. Yeah, like
Yeah.
some girlfriends were like, "Oh my god, you're single. You're gonna have so much fun for a while."
You
I
weren't
just-
looking forward to like a hot girl summer.
no,
Right.
at all.
Well, you know what you
That is
like.
not my
That's
jam.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you and Mace, you guys are DMing each other like flirty banter stuff.
We're DMing each other, sometimes few and far between, sometimes regularly. But
You got to
first
give
of
it some
all,
space at times.
You got to give it some space, but also, yeah, there were other factors at hand. But he was, to me, he had like the ultimate badge, like check mark or certificate of approval, because he was very close with my best friend in the world, Max, who I just trust her. I love her, and
He'd been vetted.
he'd been vetted. That's how I met him initially, and then we would just occasionally DM. But he sent me one of your guys' podcasts, and I didn't listen to it initially, but it did turn me on to it because I knew also about the Paul Walker statue, because my dad had also sent me that.
Oh,
Nice.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And which is funny because Mason always says, like, you're kind of with your dad. Sometimes they're both very intellectual, very like dry sense of humors. So that's funny. That's another tangent we make
Right.
out of this.
Slight electric complex thing going on. That's normal. I think we're all that way, right? Yeah.
I didn't prior to this, but I finally made the right choice. So if I do, it's fine.
Yeah, you the prodigal daughter. You had to move away before you came back.
Yeah, it's true.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it. Where were we? And then, the Paul Walker statue, because you guys have picked that up again. Mm-hmm. But that's what drew me to the pod, as well as Mason's recommendation. But I always thought of that as like, is it a joke? Is it not a joke? Right? I
Right.
wanted to ask you guys about.
I was really when it first sort of blew up, because it sort of blew up outside of like a San Clemente newspaper or their Facebook page released it, and so it was at like 2 million views before I even knew, and that was like my first worry, because I was like, oh, like I was talking to my sister about it. I'm like, well, this, like, how do I convey them like a true, genuine fan? Like, I just love, like, it came from a real place, so that was one of the biggest concerns I had when it first came out.
I'm glad you guys can clarify that, because I think the reason there's a misconception is because you guys use that device of like talking to City Hall and arguing your case, and oftentimes it is the joke's on them, right?
Right.
But with the Paul one, it's
Or it's in their hands to decide whether the joke's on them or not, I suppose.
right.
Yeah.
I think one thing is that with our speeches is the joke's on us, kind of. Because it's more like,
I guess. Well, it's up to other people, I guess, but that's how I think of it.
yeah, I don't know how much I want to go behind the curtain, but it's
Got
sort
it.
of like the
But the Paul one was in earnest. That's what matters.
I think it's the most sincere
Yeah.
of everything we've done.
And the
Yeah.
fact that, you guys should get it built. I agree. There should be a monument to him. I've always thought, like, when he first passed, I was working with Brandon Bertel, his partner, who I really love. He's wonderful. He took over the Paul Walker Foundation, and I was like, initially, I had a vision for Paul's legacy where it would kind of be like the Paul Newman brand, where it's sort of ubiquitous. You see it everywhere, and
I knew about the brand before I knew about Paul Newman, the actor.
Exactly.
So to me, he was like the salad dressing guy.
well, that's kind of what I wanted, not as the salad
Sure,
dressing guy,
sure.
but like
not
still
into a
as
commodity,
someone
but
who
into
was-
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
someone
into a
who
consumer
was-
good, but someone who's kind of always in our lives and kind of a wholesome image for people.
Absolutely, that's what I wanted. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
I think it'll get there. Yeah. Well, so can you talk more about, because, our fandom is kind of removed. We never got to meet him. Can you talk
that's
maybe about
sad.
meeting him doing the first Fast and Furious and kind of your relationship
It was
afterwards?
funny because for the first one, we weren't. We were all like, think about that time. It was like we were on the heels of. I remember when the first one came out, we went to the Deauville Film Festival. It was us, Tara Reid, Heath Ledger. Like, it was just a bunch of
That sounds like summer camp for like
young,
all the cool young
partying,
actors.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was so much fun. But none of us were really hanging out in earnest and really chilling because we just had the maturity of like a bunch of teenagers, basically, given a lot of exposure and not power, because we didn't have any power. But it was just a fun time. And it wasn't until 4 that I really got to know Paul and really started talking to him more, and we talked about his daughter, and we talked about where I was, and
you guys must have changed so much in that time
so
from 1 to
much.
4, right?
So
Yeah.
much.
I mean, that must be incredible with these fast movies where you come back and it's like, it's almost like that 7 Up series, this documentary where they come back every 7 years. It's like, you guys could be radically different people each time you meet up again.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about, one movie we were all single, the next, some of us are married, some of us aren't, some of us are divorced. Now I'm separated, have 2 kids. At the very beginning, I had none. Like we're all of us are going through different phases of life.
And kind of going through it together.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I'll call Vin up and I'll be like, I mean, right before the pandemic, there was something huge I was going through, and I had to make a huge decision on whether or not to do something. And he was like, I didn't listen. So my dad gave me advice. My husband at the time gave me advice. And I was like, I'm gonna call Vin. Like I called Vin, and I'm like, yes, okay, I will take that advice, and I'm gonna.
He gave you good advice?
He gave me really, really good advice.
So is Vin kind of like what's his role in the kind of social dynamic?
Vin he brings everyone together. Before we start a film, he usually has a get together where, I mean, I'm an introvert, so this is my idea of a nightmare where, oh my God, this happened on 5/2, where I made Paul sit next to me, but there was a mic. Anytime you see a mic, you're like, I'm gonna have to give a speech. And you never know when it's gonna happen. It could happen like on the first course, the second course, and like you kind of have to moderate your drinking according to like when you're gonna have to get up there. And there's no escaping it. And so the whole time you can't really have fun because you're like, what am I gonna say? And like preparing, but ultimately it's the kind of thing where you're like, I'm really glad I did that because people open up. It's like, it's a way to bring everyone together. It's really nice, but we do that with every single one.
So Vin has you guys give a speech?
Yeah, and he gives speeches
My dad
too.
makes everyone do that.
Really?
At dinner, my dad will just point and go, hey, give a speech. Yeah.
And doesn't it give you like performance anxiety?
It does. And also after the first one, it's great. But then he keeps making people give speeches.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, come on. Like, let's have a fixed amount here.
Right.
Yeah. But I get it because it makes people open up
It
and
does.
kind of pour out their feelings that everyone wants to hear, but maybe wouldn't come out in just more stilted hangs.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you're on 4 and you and Paul really kind of.
Yeah. So on 4, Paul and I really, our friendship became stronger. I remember he gave me this album. It wasn't Ben Harper. It was Amos Lee. And I just remember Paul having this, what was magnificent and really cool about Paul and what I was really amazed with the fact that after he passed, it seemed like having not met him, everyone still got it. Like this deep feeling coupled with an appreciation for everyone around him. Does that make sense? Like he made everyone feel, he valued everyone, whether it be the camera guy, the makeup person, the costume person. He made everyone feel very seen. And I think that's a very rare trait to have, especially in this industry.
Yeah.
And the other thing I thought was kind of magnificent about Paul was that he would never talk about like, he would never brag. Like I think a lot of actors are like, oh, I bench this much, or oh, I do this sport. Or
Who's bragging about their bench?
I mean, no one, clearly, or about their fasts or about, their ice water baths. Like no one. That's not
What?
doesn't happen, guys.
Wait, was the ice water bath thing a
Is that
chat?
dig on me?
I'm just kidding, you guys.
That's funny.
But what I thought was so cool was like talking to Brandon after Paul passed. Like there were all these things about him that he never spoke about.
Yeah.
Like he was super intelligent about conservation, and he lived so humbly. He had this like smaller house in Santa Barbara and was super chill and low key, and he collected all these and restored all these cars, and like that wasn't something he'd be on set and go like, hey, like I just bought this car and I'm restoring it, and like he would never flex like that, which I think says a lot about him.
That's cool.
Yeah, one thing from
He also played a joke on me that I have to share.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His-
I felt like such an idiot. One of the most fun parts about shooting the Fast franchise, and we don't get to do it this time around, which sucks because of COVID. But we traveled to Brazil, we traveled to Taiwan, we traveled to Mexico, and usually Michelle would get paired up with Vin, I would get paired up with Paul. And one time on our way to Brazil, Paul was next to this really big burly dude, and I was like, "Oh, who's that guy?" And he's like, "He's my translator." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I let it fly for like the next couple of days, and I was like, "That's kind of fucking weird that he would have a translator. Like usually the studio provides that." And like, come to find out days later, they were like, "Dude, he's my buddy and my trainer. Like, you are such an idiot that like I'm the most gullible person." But he was always playing those sweet jokes on me.
Yeah, one of the things from his documentary that I loved that you kind of hinted at was that he seemed to have like this inherent humility that you're talking about. Like he was almost like, especially when the first Fast took off, he was almost like a sort of reluctant movie star. Like he had the star power and everyone loved him, you know, but he kind of wanted to stay down to earth, and he lived in Santa Barbara and sort of was connected to the ocean and all these kinds of, it seemed like he had that, which I think was just such a cool thing to learn about him, that he just like, I imagine just this incredible warmth about him that I've sort of gleaned from what I've seen.
No, it's true. He did.
Yeah.
He absolutely did.
Yeah.
When you do so many of the Fast films, like for like you and Vin, and you guys are playing brother and sister, does it ever feel like you like are brother and sister now?
It does. It does. He was actually one of the first people I called. I mean, every milestone I go through, I call him. I can't share his response this time around because it would be wildly inappropriate.
Why don't you let it rip?
But no, I can't.
What do you say?
But he's so, yeah, he is like my big brother.
What was the milestone?
It was actually separation, so that's why
okay.
I cannot share.
No, but that is a good thing,
but
right?
Yeah, no, he's yeah, he held Julian in his arms when he was a baby. He like I can, you know, it's insane. It's crazy.
And Mason said he calls you sis, right?
He does, yeah.
That's cool.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Did you feel that sort of connection, that sort of sibling connection, even from the first movie?
You guys have really like I was gonna say your guys' sibling rapport is like really lived in, even in the first one.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, the first one I really didn't know what I was doing. The first one I think I was so scared. I was 21.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Although I thought I was younger, but I guess now that although maybe I was 20 when we were shooting it because it came out when I was 21. So I was 20.
I could not have handled that pressure at 21. I mean, I don't know if I could handle it now, but like
I
at
didn't
21.
know back then that it was pressure, right? I think as
Right.
we get older, we get more neurotic and more fearful.
Right.
But even though I was pretty neurotic as a 20-year-old, so I was at school, I was at Yale, and then
Were you in the acting school there?
no, I was clearly not. I'm just kidding. I was undergrad. I was majoring in English, and
My sister was there at the same time.
she was?
Yeah, and she was at Saybrook. And we were big fans of Fast and Furious at that time. So I remember she came back she's like, Mia Toretto's
Oh my gosh.
at my
that's
school.
so
I was
cool.
like, no. I was like, no effing way. I was like 11. I was like,
That's
no way,
awesome.
Bridget. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just a little tangent, but yeah.
Aw. So I came over to LA. I auditioned and then got the job and then had to take off a summer, but then we went over. So then I took off the fall semester. But wait, what was the original question? I totally forgot.
Your rapport with Vin.
Oh, my rapport with Vin.
And then
So
feeling
on the
nervous on
first
set.
one-
or not knowing where you're at on set.
Yeah, on the first one, I just felt like Vin was he was coming off a big movie, so I was intimidated by him.
Pitch
He was
Black?
Pitch Black and Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Was the one you were talking about.
Yes. And then Paul was coming off this other Rob Cohen movie. But
The Skulls.
Skulls. They were more Hollywood than I was. And then Michelle coming off of Girl
Fight. That was a dope movie.
So awesome. And Michelle also, like, I admire this. She has so much integrity. She is the least full of shit person in this town. Like she'll quit.
You told us-
She doesn't care.
You told me that she'll like, if an interviewer asks a question she doesn't like she'll just
leave.
right.
She will just leave. And she has, I think, the ability to walk away from money, the ability to walk away from the business gives her that freedom. And from the very beginning, she read the script and she was like, no, I'm not playing her like this. And so she had to create with Rob like a character, because Letty was written as like the girlfriend, and she was like, this is bullshit, especially coming off of Girl Fight. So she made that into something more interesting, and it was really fun to watch her be like Dom and like, you know, be the one that was
a badass in her own right.
Badass, yeah. So, but all that to say, I would go to set, do my job, work, and then I'd come home. This is so lame. I was staying at the Standard for the whole summer, and I would order dinner and like watch Big Brother because I felt so lonely.
Really?
Like I wasn't having fun or like doing anything crazy. I was just like working really hard, and then I was super lonely.
Did you like miss school and stuff like that? Like miss all your friends and whatnot?
I had no friends at school. It was when
Why not?
when you're an actor and then working. I mean, I think it might be different now. Like,
Oh, because you'd already done The Faculty too. This wasn't your first.
it wasn't the
movie.
first movie. The Faculty was different because The Faculty, we were all in Austin, Texas. We were sort of not stuck alone, but we were like, none of us had our driver's license.
It wasn't Hollywood.
We were all at the DoubleTree Hotel. Jon Stewart would invite us up and be like, let me try some comedy bits on you guys. And we would all, it was awesome. It was so
I forgot
much
he's the
fun.
teacher in it.
He's the teacher. It was such a great cast. And Elizabeth Avalon, Robert Rodriguez's ex, but his producing partner, would make sure we all got together. That was it was like a camp-like experience. When you're in LA where Paul lived here, I think Vin lived here, it was just different. I just felt like sort of the outcast. Yeah.
Were you auditioning at Yale? Or how did that work?
I would take, I would go to LA. So the reason I had no friends was because I would go to the city on Thursdays. I would only spend like Monday to Thursday in New Haven studying and taking classes. And then I'd go to the city and party.
New Haven, not great outside of the campus either.
No. And plus there's like 2 bars.
Right.
I mean, it was great.
There's
but
like a
not
good
if you,
pizza shop.
Not if you grow up in New York and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were like
lots of fun.
you and Bella were like club kids in New York, right?
well, not Club Kids makes me think of that movie.
I wanted
but,
to
like,
exaggerate it a little bit.
No, Bella and I were like, we'd go to like build bouquet and dance on tables and drink wine. And we were definitely
When you were like
precocious.
teenagers.
Yeah. When we
That's
were
so
teenagers.
fun.
But you're either doing it in a metropolitan setting, taking cabs, and I was like drinking Zimas on stoops and then going to a club. It was really fun. Or you're doing it at house parties. So I was doing it at the club.
But it's advanced. I mean, it's like you said, precocious. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, Toads in New Haven wasn't really my thing.
Wasn't
I
gonna
was
match.
Like, and it sucked for me because I had seen all these pictures of my dad as a hippie at Yale in the 70s, and everyone looked so old. And I was like, oh my God, everyone's so sophisticated. It's going to be so cool. And then I got there and I was like, oh, wow, we're just kids. And I was a year older because I had deferred. So there wasn't going to be much socializing.
When the first
Except for my best friend, not my best friend, but my good friend Deborah Friedel, who now works for the London Review of Books, and I still talk to her all
Oh,
the
no.
time.
That's cool.
Give it up for
I love
Deb.
her.
Yeah.
I love her. She's so awesome.
When you were shooting the first Fast, did you have an idea of how big it was going to be?
No, I remember it was called Redline. I remember it being based on an article. I really had no clue. And then I remember the producer telling me they changed the title to Fast and Furious. And I was like, that kind of sounds like a porn. Like, what? Like, that's the worst title. Are you
A lot of good
serious?
movies have good porn titles, though.
Like, tell me another one.
The Hurt Locker.
Oh, nice.
No, I don't know.
But I just thought I don't know. I didn't like it. I had no idea how big it would be. And then I remember, I think the first weekend was like $48 million, and that was unheard of and
Right.
just insane.
Did you go on the TRL route?
Yes.
What was that like? I was a huge TRL kid.
too.
I love TRL
Carson
too.
Yeah.
Wheeler, about as cool as it got.
Remember?
He was very cool.
And remember Spring Break? We had to go to Mexico
Those were
for Spring
amazing.
Break. I know.
Never saw any body hair. There was never any body hair
No,
on
and
Spring
the-
Break.
Like the foam pit, everyone dancing.
A lot of sex too. A girl would be like, "My fantasy is to be wrapped in a burrito with a guy." And I remember being in 5th grade. I was like, "Is that hot?" And then they like put him in a burrito, and the camera cut to them. They were making out, like covered in sour cream. And I was like, "This is amazing." I was like, "I got to get out there."
Gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went to Spring Break. It was really awesome. It was really, really fun.
Oh, wait, we had an idea where we wanted to bring it. We got a call from MTV like early on. We're like, we should bring back Spring Break. I don't know how far we got into it.
It was a good
Remember
idea.
that? I like the idea still.
I
wanna bring it
Yeah.
back.
I'm willing to shave my chest, whatever they need.
Yeah.
But
I'll wax
yeah, it really was like a seminal thing for I think people of
That
like
age group.
that age group where you're like, this is where I want to go. It was like this like
Totally.
paradise, and you're like, oh man, one day if I could just get there, and I could see Korn perform live and then in sync.
I think did we have Nelly or
Oh, it doesn't get much better than that.
oh my god, or maybe it was Ja Rule because he did the first one with Ashanti. Remember that song?
I'm real.
Mesmerized?
Every little thing that I do.
Yeah. Me and you.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
mesmerized.
Is that mesmer? Or,
Those eyes.
yeah.
Love it when you call me baby. Yeah, that song
What's-
slaps.
What's the fast?
The first line in it?
On 2 on 1, fast 2 1. The Fast and the Furious one is like Fast and the Furious or something.
I think Ludacris kind of really took the mantle when he did Move Bitch for the second
Oh,
one.
Right.
yeah.
Was that for Too Fast?
I think that was for Too Fast.
Oh.
Yeah. Or at least came out around the same time.
Yeah,
What was Ja
Chris
Rule
is
like?
really so
Has he ever
it's-
messaged you and he's like, you guys replaced me with Tyrese? And then like,
God, can you imagine? That would be really awkward.
well, he missed out on like a lot.
You know who
I
I
thought
feel
he was great too.
the most? That's grammatically incorrect. You know who I feel the worst for is Jesse from Fast and Furious 1.
Right.
That they got
Chad
killed
Lindbergh.
off.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dude. I recently started following him on Instagram because I'm just like, what? Oh, that sucks.
What happened?
Well, he's just not part of the other 8
Movies,
movies.
right.
Like that sucks.
He was great too.
He was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It was
was really
really
great.
good. The whole cast was so good.
Yeah. Matt
just-
Scholes was also great, but then he died in 5. Do you know what he called me?
What?
So we were shooting in Atlanta for 5. We shot most of it in Atlanta, a lot in Puerto Rico, a little bit in Brazil. And I'm still like this, where if I'm shooting somewhere and I constantly check flights because I always want to get home as soon as we wrap for the weekend or for a 3-day weekend. And so the flights to Atlanta were such that I think the last one's at 8:00. So then I'm on a flight with Matt. And he's like, oh, let's sit next to each other. And I'm like, no, buddy, I don't want to talk. Like, I'd rather sit next to a stranger. And
Trying to
he's like,
chill.
You're so weird. You're like the female Larry David.
Oh,
Really?
That's,
Dude.
that's high praise. Yeah.
I mean, it is now, but at the time I was like, just because I want to relax and not like talk. And he was like, I just don't want to get recognized. And I was like, neither of us are going to get recognized. Like, just relax.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, yeah.
Do you keep in touch with him at all?
I don't. I haven't seen him for a minute.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's interesting to me that you were in Annapolis with James Franco and Tyrese, and then
And Justin.
and that's what I was going to ask is that
Yeah.
Justin Lin was the director before he did any of the Fast movies. So you were the only Fast actor who had worked with Justin? Like, did you?
Well, Tyrese was in 2,
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Right.
but Justin was like, I mean, I love him so much. He's that dude has so much integrity. If you watch his movies, and if you watch 9, you'll see. I'm completely blanking on his name, but a really good actor from Annapolis is in 9. Like, he's constantly recycling the people he's worked with. He's a really loyal guy.
That's awesome.
It is. But so Justin was entertaining the idea of Tokyo Drift while on set. And he was like, listen, they're talking to me about this. And I was like, you have to fucking do it. That would be awesome. So, yeah. it
So
was
you
really
kind of gave him
exciting.
you gave him the nudge. You were like, you got to do this.
I gave him the push. I did.
And then so when you guys were all together on 4, what was it just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're this kind of.
It was 4. I was still sort of like, I still felt like the awkward odd man out, because when you're doing a movie or a television show, it's much easier to like shoot every day and to be there every day than it is to like come in once a week.
That
or,
makes
like,
a lot of
once a
sense.
month. So on 4, I was there for like 2 weeks or so, and I shot a bunch of scenes and it was awesome, but it wasn't like I was there for the entirety of the film.
You weren't embedded in like.
I wasn't
front to
embedded
back.
in the crew. Same thing with 6. With 6, I got boned because I was shooting Dallas.
And then in 5, I mean, how long is it? Because I rewatched 5 recently. The train stunt that you guys did. How long does it take to shoot a scene like that?
The train stunt was, Paul. So so there are a couple of aspects, like the train where it's like the really cool opening scene where they're opening the door and then we're revealed. That was all shot in the back of a soundstage in Atlanta.
Okay.
And then the interior was shot in the soundstage in Atlanta. I remember one day Paul was just like, I'm really hurting. I've got like 1 hour of sleep. And I was like, we'll get through this. Like the scene where we're talking about going to Goa or that really sweet scene. I think that was because, again, I was the good boring girl and Chris Bridges, Ludacris, took everyone to a concert. And I was like, no, I'm just going to stay home and get my beauty rest. But everyone else was hurting the next day, and I wish I had gone because like that'd be a better memory.
Speaking of the soundstage acting, I think about this all the time. I was like really stoned one time when I was watching Wrath of the Titans with Liam Neeson and Sam Worthington, and Liam Neeson had to pretend that he had like god powers and that he was shooting lightning bolts, but it was just a close up of him. And so he's like doing like this weird, like kind of twitching and hand movement. And I was like, I think that's harder acting than being like Sean Penn in Mystic River and having to pretend that your daughter was murdered. Because I could, as like not even really an actor, place myself more easily in the Sean Penn part and like kind of know what to do than to pretend I have like powers. So when you're like in your acting experiences doing stuff like that, where you're like pretending you're on a moving train, is that harder than doing like emotional scenes?
Yes, because oftentimes, like there's a whole sequence in Fast 9, and you guys have to tell me what you think when you see it. It's so elaborate. I'm like rescuing someone, and like it involves John Cena, and there's like I can show you pictures of what it actually looked like, and it's pretty tame. Like we're 360 degrees, it's like green screen. I'm on a tank, nothing's really moving, but Justin's piecing it all together, knowing exactly what he wants. And then when you see it come to life, it's this dynamic, massive action sequence. But they've shot a lot of it, with
piecemeal.
Stunts, piecemeal. And that is really difficult. It's also really difficult where sometimes because of weather or because of just different elements, like you don't have certain actors. So there was one day, like the most beautiful scene in the movie is always the barbecue at the end where we're all coming together.
The best.
So I come over to, I think it's Santos or Romero. But it was really Justin's driver. I was like, Justin, what the fuck? Like, and he's like, you signed up for this. And I was like, dude, because I was supposed to be like speaking Portuguese and super warm and like giving this guy a big hug. And I'm like,
you're talking to a guy you've never seen before.
It's Johnny from Transpo. It's worse. It's like I've seen him all the time. And like, dude, you're Justin's driver. But that's the kind of stuff you have to roll with. And,
and there's no acting training for that either.
No, you just have to make it work. But I did remember something today that my acting teacher, Nancy Banks, said, which I really love and hold on to. Like I was getting kind of bitchy in my head about, oh my God, there's so many interviews and I'm really tired. And
you did do 45 5-minute interviews today?
I did 45 4-minute, but 2 of them were 10 minutes. But there were a lot, right? But so Nancy said, I take this class where it's once a week. I mean, I don't know when we're going to go back because of COVID, but it's the small theater. It's awesome because you see people perform and they're so good, so much better than me, so much better than a lot of working actors I know. And also I watch them perform and I'm like, that's perfect. How's Nancy going to tweak that? And she does. And then I'm like, whoa, because for me, like in my 20s, anytime a director would approach me, I'd be like, oh God. Like I'd think that I was getting a note that would mean something, reflect poorly on me, but really it's just a tweak that's going to help you. But seeing that firsthand with Nancy has been really, really helpful. But this one thing she says in class is like, once you get the job and you're on set, that's the dream. Like that's smooth sailing. This is the work. Auditioning is the work. Like the
Right.
torture you go through to get to that is the work.
Right.
And I had to remember that when I was like, oh, so many interviews. I was like, no, that's nothing. Like,
What age did you start acting?
I started at 15.
15.
What motivated you?
I had the same confidence my son has. My son is 7. His name
And Strider's
is
his
Julian.
babysitter.
Strider's his Manny.
Sorry.
Strider's his Manny and his buddy. Also kind of his, I would say his
Guru?
guru, confidant /
Couldn't be a better guy in that spot.
Oh my God. Because he's like, he explains things so well. He's ethical. He's like a really great leader for Gigi. And anyway, I see Julian like sometimes like checking himself out in the mirror and he's flexing and like he just, or like, I'm like, Julian, let's get a haircut. And he's like, no, the ladies love my curls. And I'm just like, dude, like you. And I remember I had the same level of confidence when I was a little girl. And I thought, oh, it's like me and Claudia Schiffer. Like I was delusional. So I think it was a delusional sense of self-confidence that I had, coupled with a desire to perform, which I started to in grade school. This is horrible. I was cast as Jesus in Godspell, and I thought I was the shit. And then I won the award for like acting. And then my dad was like, "Yeah, that's because I donated to the school that year." And I was like,
Why'd your dad tell you that?
"Why did he tell
Were
me
you
that?"
too high on your own supply? Were you treating people
By the way,
poorly as a result of your success?
He told me like 3 years ago, and I was like, that changed the trajectory of my life.
He waited that long
He
to tell you?
waited that long.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, Dad. Like,
Well,
that
at this
is
point, it's
heavy.
worked out, so the deception
Yeah,
was worth it.
totally.
Yeah.
And do you think that desire to perform came from being an introvert?
I think it did. I think I've listened to lots of interviews. There are lots of army brats that became actors. Like Viggo Mortensen's a really interesting one. Have you ever like listened to any podcasts he's done?
No, I've heard about that. He lives in like Idaho.
He lives in Idaho, but he grew up in Spain, I think, and then he moved around again. So I think there's this sense of if you're a chameleon and
Nomadic
then
childhood. You're always having to reinvent yourself everywhere you go.
But I didn't reinvent myself. I felt like the odd person out. But you do end up observing people and observing what you need to do if you were to actually that's
You didn't
not
change who you
true.
were, but you knew how to fit in.
I knew how to fit in, or I tried to fit in. Like I went from wearing what I would wear in Brazil to like then, oh, okay, Doc Martens are cool and LL Bean backpacks are cool. And wearing this kind of jewelry is cool. So I'm going to do that for a little while at the all-girls school that I went to.
How was that?
See, it's another thing where Bella did really, really well. She like excelled and played volleyball and was like the head of her class. And I just was picked on and I had a really hard time. I did not like it. I was really happy to get out of there. I mean, I remember going through a period where I would pretend, I don't know if I was actually sick, but I would say I had a stomach ache and I just stayed home and watched. Remember like back in the day, it was I Love Lucy reruns and I would just watch that and eat macaroni and cheese all day. And this was just to avoid the girls at my school.
Yeah. Do you think because I'm an introvert too, so I've always felt like we do like stand up and stuff. Or it's sort of I've always felt like because I would always be kind of shy in school, but then if there's like a stage or like with stand up, there's a mic, or it's like that's my opportunity to like be myself. That's sort of I think how I always felt about it.
Yeah.
Do you think you had that same kind of like?
I think it might have been
drive?
that. I think because I didn't like sports, because I wasn't good at anything else. I think it was a means of self-expression and the feedback loop is so fast with acting. It's like there's connection with someone. Like once I got on a soap opera and in New York, not to disparage soap operas on the West Coast, but like the guy that played my dad graduated from Juilliard. Like he was awesome. Mm-hmm. And to be able to just play and act with someone daily and have all these lines of dialogue that you need to memorize, it was just so engaging for me.
Yeah.
It was just, I needed that constantly.
Yeah. It's almost like you're able to like the way I think about acting and stuff, or like stand up, it's like you're able to tap into this like energy source.
Totally.
That like, you know, it's like you have like material or lines, and it's like you get to like be this person. It's such a how you describe it? Just sort of like a
tapping into an energy source is a really good way of describing it.
because it's like you sort of hold it in, you know. Because I had older siblings that were very kind of like, you know, super confident and loud, and I could never speak at the dinner table. I could just never get a word out. So it's like I had all this energy within, and then you get a microphone, and you're like, all right, now I get to let it out.
Totally. I think people would say the same thing about music, because like with Mason, I notice he'll get like, not to speak for you, my love, but like you it's like you need that outlet, and then once you get into that groove, it's like super gratifying. I think everyone needs that.
Yeah.
Whether it be writing, music, acting. And I think where you get screwed up is because my auditions have gotten better. In the last year, like post separation, post COVID, post all of that, because I feel like I stopped trying to interrupt the process and just let it flow.
Right.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think so much of it is just like getting out of your own way. It's like you do all this you know, training and stuff in order to find that like stillness in order to really perform. It's like you do all this work to get to a place where the thoughts kind of
Totally
subside, I think.
When you're performing though, does the audience, they freak you out? Because like that would scare me.
At like a show?
Yeah.
Only if it's people I know. If it's people I know, if it's people I don't know, actually I really enjoy bombing.
What's bombing?
Where no one laughs.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is this bombing?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
bombing sounded like you just, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Just because it's, it is. I do.
He's really good at it.
If it's people that,
Not that he does it a lot, but when a joke goes bad, a lot of people shrink, and he actually comes alive a little bit more, which is rare.
Well, yeah, because it's like a lot of times just with my style, it would be like it would just go over people's heads, so it'd just be kind of fun to sort of, they'd be staring at you, and you're just kind of you feel like you're messing with them a little bit.
Do you feel like you've been muzzled? You guys have been muzzled now with like having to be like, even with the dog joke you do, right? Like, do you feel? I feel like if I were to say that, people would be like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean? Like that's cruel."
Yeah.
Like that must be really hard now to navigate that.
I enjoy it. I think it's like an entrapment when Catherine Zeta-Jones is going to get that diamond, and she's got to slither through the lasers.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think Jerry Seinfeld described it that way. I'm like, okay, well, there's more lasers now, and I'm like, all right, well, you just got to slip through a couple more, and then it's higher degree of difficulty. So no, I don't. I mean, that's like, to me, if you like, I understand why people complain about it, but if you're complaining about that, it's like screaming at like the wind or something like that. Like
it's a good way of looking.
It's kind of bigger than you, so you just have to figure out a way to. I don't know. I think you can still be edgy. You just have to be smart about it. Yeah.
Totally.
And take risks, but you don't have to. I don't think it's bad. Like, you know, like I talked about it, like Ali Kemper getting in trouble for doing like a beauty pageant in the South. Like, like stuff like that is like, it's like, I think
like years and years ago.
Yeah, it's too much. But overall, I'm like, as a comedian, I'm like, no, I think I can figure this out.
It's also fun seeing art comment on this phenomenon. Like there's this show with Gene Smart on HBO. Have you guys seen it? It's called Hack, I think. Or
Hacks. I haven't watched it, but a friend of ours, we're not super tight, but Hannah Einbender's on it.
Oh, right.
She plays.
Is she the comedian?
She's the other.
She's
lead.
the writer. Mm-hmm. She's really, really good.
She's always like, the moment I saw her, I was like, yeah, she's super talented.
She's super good.
Yeah,
and,
she's great.
And that's the whole thing with her character, is that she gets canceled because of like one relatively benign joke that she makes, and then she's done.
Oh, really?
And she has to go work for fucking Gene Smart, who sucks. Although there is a lesson in it, in that Gene Smart works her butt off, and I love this show. I'm on I binged on 3 episodes last night.
Nice. Chad, do you have more before we get into cues?
A few questions. Let's see. These are more for Mia, if you don't mind.
Could you answer these questions as Mia?
I'm going to answer them as Mia.
Thank you for doing this, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Fast and Furious Theater now.
Yeah, Mason, if you want to give a what up into the mic, you can at some point.
What up, guys?
That was huge.
Mason's.
You want to say hi to Harry?
What up, Harry, Will, and Nick?
Nice.
Yeah, Mason's. We've known you for 3 years now, I think.
Well, I mean, remember when I had you do I got a meet and greet for Harry?
You said we did a lunch, and it was It was
for me.
people said it was for. They said it was for Mason's son, and then when we got there, we're like, I think Mason's more into it. Your son was more into like the chicks at the bar. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
Don't you love how Mason doesn't need a mic because his voice is so deep?
Oh,
He's got a
yeah.
nice
He
baritone.
voice.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sexy.
Okay. First cue. How did you feel when you first heard that Hector was going to be running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines and a Motec system exhaust?
I said, damn, my brother better get on his game.
Yeah, that's a good response. Okay, next cue. Were Dom and Johnny Tran ever boys?
No, Johnny Tram has always been a punk.
All right, last cue.
A
What?
vain-ass punk.
Yeah.
He is vain.
He
He's
is
a good one.
vain,
That is.
yeah.
I've never thought of him that way, but I guess it comes with those looks, though, with that jaw that cuts glass.
That and Lance with the snakeskin pants.
Mm-hmm.
Last cue. Why was your tuna so bad at the grocery store? Did you go with generic instead of Bumblebee?
I think maybe I left too much water in the tuna, which always dilutes the mayo, and therefore it kind of sucked and made the white bread soggy.
Did Dom ever consider hiring someone with more culinary experience?
No.
Because it's a family.
It's a family. It's all about family. Always.
Love that.
That's awesome. Thank you for answering those.
Those were great. All right. Do you want to answer some listeners' questions?
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
Will you send a picture to Bella? She'll be like, guys, what's going on?
We give the peace sign.
Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast to let you know once again that we are brought to you by Helix Beer Bongs, the best in the biz for froth technology. We have this super cool funnel and hose that's really going to deliver the froth into your gullet, and it's going to just, stoke is just going to rise from within after you chug from this beer bong. Helix is the best in the biz. They got revolutionary funnel technology. It's legit. Go to shopcgd.com to get your Helix beer bong today. That's shopcgd.com. We are also brought to you by the legends at Manscape. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our dongs are looking fresh and clean, because it's time to bundle up with Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, weed whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. The new Performance Package 4.0 includes the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is insane. And dare I say, the GOAT of ball trimmers? Yeah, I said it. Guys, it's got amazing LED lights, different speeds, different lengths, a 4,000K LED spotlight so you can see your nuts in high def. What more could you ask for? Also, it's waterproof. That is what I could have asked for, and Manscaped delivered. Thank you. They have the weed whacker for your nose hairs and ear and all that, crap. So get in there, trim your pubes, trim your nose. Use the Crop Preserver ball deodorant to keep you on your game in the heat. It's all legit, guys. And Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com. Escape the shrubs and weeds this summer and shine with Manscaped. We are also brought to you by the legends at HelloFresh. HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes. Guys, they have legit meals. I made a bolognese with them. It's so epic. I also made some freaking lamb. I've never even made lamb, but then HelloFresh delivered the lamb to me, and I was like, I'm going to eat this. This is delicious. They had 27 plus recipes to choose from: vegetarian meals, calorie smart, burgers, extra special gourmet options. Nutritional experts ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Also professional chefs. And you can get a wide variety of easy, delicious options for all 3 meals a day, plus every snack and special treat in between with the HelloFresh Market. Sorry, got a tickle in my throat. And it's 28% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store. It's so legit. I love the bolognese I made. I love the lamb. I love everything. Guys, seriously, check out HelloFresh. They're legit. Go to hellofresh.com/GoDeep12 and use code GoDeep12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/GoDeep12 and use code GoDeep12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Try HelloFresh today, America's #1 meal kit. Finally, we are brought to you by the legends at Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon, kick off your summer in style with the brand that's reinventing men's basics, Mack Weldon. They've got more than underwear. Their full collection includes t-shirts, polos, button-ups, shorts, pants, swims, and so much more. I got some of their board shorts, so legit, so comfy, so fresh. I rock them all around the house. It's multi-uses. I rock them in the pool, in the ocean, in the house. And polos, if you want to look fresh on the golf course, highly recommend Mack Weldon for that. They got light, breathable fabric technology, so they'll keep you cool and comfortable all summer. Their swim line with trunk and board short options are quick to dry and have a 4-way stretch fabric. They got their Maverick Tech Chino short, and their polos are just legit. Also, they got a free loyalty program called Weldon Blue. Level 1 gets you free shipping for life. Heard that. Also, once you reach level 2 by spending $200, you get 20% off every order for the next year. Stay cool this summer and look great doing it with all new collections of men's essentials from Mack Weldon. For 20% off your first order, visit mackweldon.com/GoDeep and enter promo code GoDeep. That's mackweldon.com/GoDeep, promo code GoDeep. For 20% off, Mack Weldon, reinventing men's basics. All right, back to the show.
All right, I got it.
Surgeon wife knows nothing. Hi, Chad, JT, Aaron, and any guests. I have an amazing wife who I met while we were both in medical school. She is an ophthalmologist, and while she's super smart, witty, funny, and all around amazing, she lacks a fund of knowledge in just about every category that comes up in casual conversation. Sports, history, politics, etc. She couldn't tell you who Joe Rogan, Mike Trout, or Mitch McConnell are, for example. It can sometimes lead to awkward social situations where people are bewildered that a highly educated person like her, who went to great schools and has a great career, can be so clueless in common knowledge areas. Am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Should I encourage her to broaden her horizons or let her be? Well, first of all, I don't think Joe Rogan and Mike Trout aren't like.
I don't know who Mike Trout is.
I don't know who Mike Trout is
He's like the
either.
best baseball player in the world, but he plays for the Angels, and a big part of his reputation is not that many people know who he is.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually more specific that you know who Mike Trout is, that your wife doesn't know who Mike Trout is, and speaks more to the circles that you're in, and you kind of thinking that your circles are normal when hers are probably pretty normal too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be hard on you, dog. What do you think?
I think, I mean, the way he described her in the beginning of the question says it all, right? Like, it feels like she seems pretty stellar. If she doesn't know certain things, like,
She's a fucking
whatever.
doctor.
Yeah, let it go.
I think she can know. If she's
Let
a
it go.
doctor, if she doesn't know
Also-
someone, she can always just be like, I'm a doctor.
Don't bring it up. And also, don't care what other people think about your girl. Care what you think about your girl.
Yeah. I like that she has her own interests too. I mean, she likes what she likes. You can't force her to like Joe Rogan, as much as one may try.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe it bothers him more. Yeah. And I would just,
But you know what? It seems like the kind of thing that bothers him because someone said something to him, and then once they said that, it was like a bee in his bonnet. You know when that happens?
Yeah. Yeah, don't let other people corrupt what you love.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Put that on a shirt.
You can't do that.
I can't imagine saying to one of my friends, be like, your girl doesn't know who Joe Rogan is?
Yeah, I'd feel pretty dumb. And I love Joe Rogan. I'm like Joe Rogan's biggest fan.
Yeah.
But
Why would you care?
I've never had a girlfriend who liked Joe Rogan. And in fact,
No.
I was sort of suspicious of the one who did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, are you doing this so guys will like you? Which was a little unfair of me. And then one time I tried to show one of my girlfriends a Joe Rogan video that I was like, she'll love this. It was him on Happiness. And after 5 minutes, she just goes, is he stoned? And she couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is this guy, Man the Dan. So an episode ago, me, Strider, and Chad had one of our most contentious conversations about this guy, Man the Dan, who was trying to woo this woman. And rather than just asking her out directly, he was going to offer her free marketing advice because they're both in that world. And he also had a lot of jokes in his email about how she was a dime of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. They were kind of weird jokes. They didn't quite hit. And then he said he wanted to marry her too. So it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And Chad and Strider were like not feeling it. And I was kind of supportive of it. And so here's the follow-up from Man the Dan. Chad, JT Strider, you were right. It turns out giving free marketing advice as a way to get a girl's heart doesn't work and is also kind of creepy. I guess the problem is that directly asking girls out to go on a date has only ever worked once in my life, over socials or in person. I honestly just like to be creative and try new things out. My problem is that sometimes my creativity gets a little too weird for a lot of people. Also, I wasn't using this just as a way to hook up, as Strider previously pointed out. I'm one of those weird dudes that's more into getting into a long-term relation, starting a family. Sex is fun and all, but it only lasts 18 seconds, but love lasts forever. I knew he was a good guy. So I have a new pickup line, Strat, that goes something like this. Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice that you have some fresh kicks. I'm currently looking to buy some new shoes, but I'm really bad at picking out new shoes. Would you like to go shoe shopping with me? Is this a good move that could lead to a fun date? Or does this sound like I have a shoe fetish problem? P.S. Sorry for previously coming off as a robotic serial killer. Your boy's a little awkward. Stay toasty, my dudes. Yeah, Strider called him a serial killer.
That sex joke was pretty endearing. They made.
You think so?
As long as it's a joke.
Right. That made me more pro man the Dan.
Are you coming around on Man the Dan?
Not his plans,
But now
man the Dan.
you like him as a man.
You know what's
I do
more
like Man the
smooth?
Dan.
I knew he was a good guy.
He's a good guy. His plan.
But you guys did not think he was a good guy.
I never commented on as far as I remember.
You might not have, but I think you and Strider were both like,
I just thought the plan was whack. How do you feel about it?
I like the shoe line. I think try it out, man. I think you're on the right track. You're getting better with each email. He's getting better with each email. It's his journey. We got to let him go on his journey. He's figuring it out. I believe in you, man.
But I feel like shoe shopping is an investment. I feel like more like, hey, like you seem like you have really good style. Could I just ask you for, like, I've got a couple of options here on my phone. Could you help me with this? And like engage that way.
Right.
that.
Versus like, let's go shoe
It's a big
shopping.
ask.
Yeah.
It's a huge ass.
Right. And then she has to see your feet.
No,
She doesn't want to see your feet on date one.
Too early.
Even though I'm not wearing shoes right now. But, you know, that's probably why I relate to Man the Dan. I get it. Stay weird, brother. But, you know, hone your weirdness. Make it palatable.
Yeah, I like what you're saying though. Is lower the investment,
Totally.
like
Yeah.
lower the ask. Maybe that's a good call.
I think, but I like where Man the Dan's coming from. Keep emailing
Well,
us.
I
Yeah.
engaged with him a little bit on.
Oh, you were
Instagram.
talking to him?
A brief. I mean, I just reposted a story, and he's a good guy. I like Dan the Man the Dan. I keep
Because
messing
you know
up.
Dan
always
the Man
forget his name.
exists.
Dan the Man exists?
Dan the Man is like a gym that my kids used to go to.
Oh, really?
Bella's super. Ask Bella about Dan the Man.
Okay.
I will. Dude, Bella's been like a really good friend to me.
No, I know. She's
we
giving me
talk a
really
lot on
good
the phone.
advice,
Yeah, she's giving me a
right?
lot of advice. She's helped me through stuff. Yeah.
She needs to come
We're
on.
tight. Yeah, we're gonna have her on for sure. Yeah.
She gave me dating advice. I still have to surf with her. I haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
You really do have to surf with her.
Is she upset?
You know, wait, it's her birthday on June 18th.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
All right.
Is that the day that Nick Cage gets out of jail in Con Air?
It might be.
No, Strider would know.
Sorry.
All right. Next question. What up, Stoke Gods? I come to you in a time of need. Here's the story. I've been dating my GF for 3.5 years now. She's amazing and I love her more than anyone. Recently, she's begun hanging out often with one of her old friends. The kicker is my girlfriend's old friend is also friends with my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. Oh, is also friends with my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend who treated her like shit. He's super childish and is always saying things to her like, what do you rate me? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, in case you aren't a 5th grader and this isn't part of your vernacular, and bringing up sex. I've never met him and all of this has been going on when I'm not there. He will FaceTime my girlfriend's friend when he knows my girlfriend is with her to do this shit. My girlfriend even asked if he'd speak to me in a public setting and he said no. My question is, what do I do about it? I train kickboxing and BJJ and I know I can beat his ass, so that is an option. I wouldn't go through with that option, but it's nice to know you have that option because it would suck more if you didn't. Should I? No, don't kick his ass. I don't want to do it unprompted and seem like an asshole if we are around each other. I'm not insecure about his and my girlfriend's relationship because I know where we stand, but he's blatantly disrespecting me and my GF by continuing to ask her questions he knows make her uncomfortable. Should I let the disrespect slide and let this jabroni live, or should I hit him with a clean takedown in front of all of his friends to let him know who's boss? I look forward to hearing your sage advice.
I kind of got lost.
So his girlfriend has a good friend who hangs out a lot with his girlfriend's ex. And
His girlfriend has a friend.
who hangs out a lot with her old ex.
Okay.
So like
Oh, right. So
it'd
his
be like-
girlfriend's friend is hanging out with her ex.
it'd be like if you were hanging out with like my ex a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then my girlfriend at the time wasn't liking it because
Right.
then I was seeing the ex a lot
Right.
because of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then so the guys like will be like, "Hey, rate me on a scale of 1 to 10," and we'll like flirt with her.
Okay.
And so this dude wants to beat that dude's ass,
Right.
and he's trained.
That's a tough one.
I have
It's-
2 questions.
Yes.
Why isn't he engaged to this chick?
Like, why hasn't he proposed to her?
3 years? That's a
Oh,
long time, right?
what? So you would need a commitment before that time horizon.
I think that's a long time to date. I think that's a really long time to date. And then I would advise him to get in a situation where he does talk to this guy in a stern way. I'm not suggesting he beat his ass, but I think that's really sexy to a woman when a man like
fucks the
defends
guy
her.
up.
No, defends her.
No, I like your honesty.
I think that's
This is good.
Most intense boxing workout
I think that's really good.
for the record.
No, remember when that guy was stepping up to me and Rowan and you like got between us? Also, whenever Mason and I
Nice,
are
dude.
walking, like he does the most gentlemanly thing. He puts himself like by the street. Like he's very gentlemanly and chivalrous.
I really appreciate your candor, but I don't know if we can tell this dude to go kick someone else's ass.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not telling him to he cannot,
That's what you said.
No, he should not kick someone's ass. He should look threatening in the same room as this guy. And he should be like, wait, I'm sorry, what were you saying to my
So
girlfriend?
just check
again?"
him a little bit.
Yeah, like what were you saying?
Right.
That's what I thought.
Right.
There's nothing sexier to me.
Okay.
And I think his girlfriend might, given that his girlfriend is telling him these stories, like she's not telling him the stories for nothing. We're not that arbitrary.
Does he need to check with his girlfriend first if that's something she would be into? Because what if she doesn't like that stuff?
Well, I think he should say, hey, I'm not comfortable with what this guy's doing. Would you be okay if I...
Right. But run it by her first, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Cool. Perfect. I think that works great.
Wait, Mason. So you stood up to a guy?
Yeah, he stepped to some
The
dude.
homeless guy. It wasn't a competition scenario. It was
Right.
just a sad situation. But
Oh,
the guy
okay.
the guy was not respecting personal space of her or some kid.
I think we should take some creative license and say that it was Bob Sapp, former K1 kickboxer. Nice, dude. All right, should we get into the next part? Because we got to go. Chad, who is your beef of the week?
My beef of the week is with, and we talked about this earlier today, LA Confidential. Love the movie.
Very good movie.
Great movie. But I just don't know what's going on. And I felt dumb watching it. I was like, I don't understand what's really going on here. And then I talked to JT about it. I was like, and I didn't even say it because I was kind of embarrassed. I didn't want to like say like, I didn't really know what's going on. So I was talking to JT and he's like, JT, like, it's hard to follow the plot. And I'm like, yeah, it is. What's going on with that? Because
I've seen it 50 times. I couldn't explain the plot from back to front.
I do love the movie. Russell Crowe, badass, but I was just, that was my beef. It made me just feel dumb. And that's my beef with it. Not the movie itself, but just the feeling it gave me. Yeah.
Who's your beef of the week?
Can I stew on this
Yeah.
and
Totally.
come back to me? Because, yeah.
My
By the
beef.
way, on that beef, can I interject? Do you mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out of his boring story, but
Wait, let's get you on mic though, if you're gonna. Yeah, because it'll sound bad.
that movie's an homage to film noir.
Right.
And film noir's thing was the plots made no sense. And there's a famous
Oh.
story that Raymond Chandler, who wrote The Big Sleep, I think, making it, and Bogart or whoever was in it, and the director,
Philip Marlowe, the
were like,
character.
we do not
Yeah.
understand this fucking plot. So they call Raymond Chandler up, and he's like offended at first, and he's like, "What do you mean you don't understand? Like, this doesn't make. You mean it doesn't make any sense?" Hangs up the phone, calls him back an hour later, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't actually understand."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's about the ambiance and the constant double, and the plots actually don't really.
Matter. It's the tone.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you for that.
Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That'll
It is
work.
awesome.
My beef of the week is with Paul's mom. Freshman year carpool, 5 of us would used to ride to school together, and each family had a different. Each family took care of one of the days. So I think my family's day was Wednesday, and it was always my housekeeper who drove. My parents never made it out. But on Thursdays, Paul's mom would drive, and she drove a Volvo station wagon. So there was the front seat, the 3 middle seats, and there wasn't a total back row. There was a seat in the trunk that was really small that faced out, out the window. And everyone would have to put their bags in the back too. So it was really cramped because there's 5 backpacks back there. Paul's mom made me ride in the trunk every week.
You didn't love that seat?
I hated it. That was
my favorite
crunched.
seat.
I was crunched. I looked ridiculous. Everybody driving to school at the same time was looking at me. I used to write on slips of paper, "Save me," and put them up against the window. It got to it wasn't. I didn't even hate the seat. It was the fact that she made me sit in it.
Right.
And every week she'd go, "All right, JT, get in the back." The other kids started to feel bad for me, and they'd be like, "Hey, I'll take the back seat," and she'd go, "Nah, JT's cool. He'll do it."
Yeah.
And my mom started to get mad, and she's like, "I'm going to fucking say something to her." And I was like, "Mom, don't say anything. It's fine."
Yeah.
And I just had to soldier through it until I became friends with an older kid, Trent Downs, and started getting rides from him and his 6 Explorer. But yeah, Paul's mom, who I really like, and we ran into each other at my friend Clinton's engagement party years later. No bad blood, but I'm tapping back into that anger now. And freshman year, I had other beefs like Puzio, but Paul's mom was definitely in the top 10 beefs.
Right. Dude, the Volvo, the backseat Volvo,
Yeah.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
That was my favorite seat.
Dude, it might be cool, but when you're like in prison there, like when someone's like, "Hey,
When
you can't
move,
leave,"
you're stuck in backpacks and stuff.
they're like, that's your seat. And I was like, "Well, can't we mix it up like once a month?" And she was like, "No, you sit back there." I was small.
Was she punishing you for being a ne'er-do-well?
She was punishing me for being annoying. Yeah. But honestly, there was another kid in carpool who's very annoying. And he might be a beef another time. But I don't want to spread the beef thin right now. I'll save your beef for another time. And honestly, no bad blood there. He sent me a nice message one time saying it's nice that conservatives have a comedian they can look to. And then he told me unsolicited, he goes, "And maybe give the stand-up a rest and just focus more on the other stuff."
Really?
I hadn't talked to him in years. And I was like,
When was this?
This was like right after we did like the Women's March thing or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And first popped on Fox. And I was like, I get where he was coming from. But unsolicited, I was like, "You fucking nozzle."
The farmers market people at the parking spots at your kid's school.
Who-
Our furry friends in the backyard.
You got a beef?
Oh my God.
And then you got to do a babe of the week and then a legend of the week after this. And then a quote of the week and then a phrase of the week. I'm sorry. Just a lot of homework.
My beef of the week is that we have these little disgusting little critters in our front yard, and no matter what, I can't get rid of them. That's not a good beef. I don't like that beef. My love, we need a better beef.
Yeah, that one you get edited.
That one's edited. I would say my beef of the week is my sister constantly does this to me. I'm like, "Bella, next Monday you're coming in for the thing," and she's like, "Yeah, 1,000%, And then I'm like, this morning I call her and I'm like, "Are you ready?" And she's like, "For what?" And I'm like, "Bella, I told you for the podcast. Like, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, my throat's really raspy." And I was like, "From partying at Walt Disney all weekend with your kids? Like, what are you talking about?"
Did it sound like an authentic raspy voice or did it sound put upon?
It sounded,
Or put on rather.
to be fair, like she gave me warning the night before and I was like, uh-oh, like I can feel this coming. It sounded slightly put upon. Like I bet if we FaceTimed her, like she'd be fine.
Should I FaceTime her right now?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Is it because I think she did it because I haven't surfed with her yet?
I think we need to
punishment.
make that happen. And then she's
Yeah.
going to make a GoPro.
GoPro?
And blast that, which will be awesome.
Chad, who's your babe of the week?
My babe is Kurt Russell.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched Executive Decision over the weekend.
Good one.
Yeah, great movie. Yeah, I was expecting it to be a little, just because Steven Seagal was in it, but he died so soon. I was like, oh, this will probably be corny, but it was really good.
It's a good movie.
And
It's a solid one.
Kurt Russell, I love watching that guy. Tequila Sunrise. He just
Another Fast and Furious alum.
right. Yeah,
Mr. Nobody.
that's right. Yeah. So have you hung out with him at
I
all?
have not hung out with him. I haven't had the pleasure.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
Seems very cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he has that, like, he's like very good looking, you know, but he's like that kind of like old school, like.
Yeah, you feel like he could be like the hot dad at a high school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He feels like a real man.
You buy it a little bit more.
He doesn't feel
Yeah.
like born out of some like acting school. He feels like he walked off from like the plant and just was like, hey, I'll be an actor now.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I like.
An unalloyed masculinity, but he can still play scary.
Unalloyed. Good word.
I stole that. Chris Connolly described Mark Wahlberg as having an unalloyed masculinity in Boogie Nights.
Oh, really?
And that's what would have made him better than Leo, because I guess Leo was the other option.
Wow.
That was probably too much context. Who's your baby?
My babe of the week would be my babe Mason Morfitt.
Oh.
Yeah, speaking of unalloyed masculinity, that's who it would be. Because, by the way, I don't like pretty boys. I think pretty boys, like, and to bring it back, sorry, my love, to Paul, he got better as he aged and became like rougher
Right.
around the edges. So that's what I like about my guy over there.
He's handsome.
He's very handsome.
Yeah. Good scruff.
And he'll throw down, and he has a very deep voice.
Well, now, Mason, maybe we could ask you about this. Now, because when we've been out with you guys get paparazzi to take photos of you. So you're like new to this, right? Paparazzi and stuff. And so how does it feel having like, you know, I'm friends with you, so I'll see like shirtless photos of you in like the Daily Mail or something like that. Has that been like an adjustment for you?
Yeah.
You want to get into that?
Well, the first couple dozen times, I had no idea anyone was around, right? And so it was kind of creepy because
You're being observed. That's weird. Yeah.
You're exposed. And then I made the rookie mistake, because this isn't my world, of reading the comments.
Oh,
And Jordana goes, "You idiot, you never read the comments," right? And one of them said, "This guy needs to hit the gym and get a full body wax." Which is when I reached out to you.
Yeah, we talked a little about it.
Like, what do you think I should do? And you know, what's your opinion on chest hair? But you can really go down a rabbit hole when you read the comments. And so that's, you know, my only sort of profound lesson learned is don't do that.
Right. Smart. But it's cool. It's happening. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's a new life experience. Yeah.
And do you have that discipline of being able to not read the comments?
so do you guys remember IMDb?
Of course.
Oh my God. I
One of
used
the
to go on the
best
message
websites of all
boards.
time.
Just on it, yeah.
Yeah.
In my 20s, I would go on the message boards. Because I had way too much time on my hands. Because like I just, you know, did. And I would torture myself because there would just be these threads of just like people obliterating me. So no, I don't have the discipline. And now I've discovered Daily Mail message boards. And despite what I say,
Oh, man.
I still read them. And some of them stick. They're awful.
Right.
Yeah, if they're perceptive, they can be.
Well, I didn't say perceptive.
I mean, in my case,
mean-spirited,
right?
and
Sorry.
cruel.
The ones that hurt me
No, but of
more are the
course.
ones that have like a kernel of truth to
Of
them.
course,
Yeah,
that's-
sorry. Yeah,
that's
I wasn't
always-
suggesting that.
No,
yeah.
that's always the case.
Hit the gym and get a wax.
No, dude, you look great.
No, but that's always the case. Is if there's like a little nugget of truth there, you're like, ooh, that stung.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my babe of the week is. I wanted to go with an actor too. I'm gonna go with Billy Crudup. I think he's such a good actor.
Such a good actor.
And I was watching him in the morning show, and he plays like this like kind of like ostensibly slimy character who's just all about like ambition and rising to the top. But somehow his character's like is kind of the only character doing the right thing throughout, which I thought was like a cool commentary on how like right now, because like being virtuous is like, and like virtue signaling is like an important part of like being powerful. So it kind of makes sense for this character who's just ambitious to actually be virtuous, because that's actually works to accelerate, even if you don't really believe in it. It's like the best way to accelerate your career right now. And he played that so perfectly, and he was so fun in it. And I know he just brought this weird like glee to the performance. And I was like, I don't know anyone else who could have done that.
He doesn't get enough cred for it, don't you
I don't
think?
know. He's so good and like almost famous. I almost feel like he like intentionally doesn't want to be like,
right.
yeah, like huge or something like that. But he's so good in everything.
He's really good.
And so, yeah, I just want to give love to Billy Crudup. Chad, who's your legend of the week?
My legend of the week is you guys and Bella.
Nice.
Because we've been sort of hanging out with you guys here and there for the past year, so it's been fun. I mean, it's something I never would have like pictured, like as being like possible in my life had I been younger. You know what I mean? So it's been really, I don't know, it's been incredible getting to know you guys and welcoming us into your lives.
That's
And Bella
really nice.
too. Shout out. She's been, a good friend to us, and she's given us advice too, and gave me dating advice. It's awesome.
She's
So,
the best.
Yeah.
You guys are the best.
You should have
Thank
called
you
her
guys.
about that text, by the way. She would have been like, stop it. Do not text her back. Just chill.
He told me I shouldn't have. I
It
shouldn't have
works.
listened to you.
You had to clarify. They were confused on the taco too.
What?
They didn't know. It was confusing.
Yeah, I know.
I told you it wasn't a deal breaker either way.
I know. I told my mom, and she laughed at the joke. I was
You
like,
can't put this on me. I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. It's all on me, but I think it's okay.
But I get it, dude. Look, we're living and dying on every text message. I'm out there.
That's also my other beef is like texting. It's like so. My voice just cracked because I'm so.
Because you're so
upset.
impassioned.
Yeah, it's just so you're like, I don't know, man. It's such a mind game because you're sort of like you're like I'm fine. Like I like who I am.
You're a
It's like,
good
why do I
person.
to,
You have
like-
self-worth.
Yeah, why do I have to
export it?
Yeah, right. Oh man, it's just like, but that it is actually cool that's what I stress about the most is texting. Although I stress about career stuff and stuff, all that stuff.
I do love like finding your journey to like acceptance through like just silent gesticulation. Be like, I mean, it's just like I gotta. It's just you're and then, but it is. It's okay.
Well, I was just laying on the. JT left my house. I was laying on the couch. He's
You
like,
were
"You're
in
gonna
rough
be
shape.
okay." I'm
Yeah.
like, "I'm not gonna be okay."
Dude, I almost didn't-
fucked it all up.
I almost didn't leave. I stayed like an extra hour because I was like, I can't leave him right now, dude. I was like, I was just sitting there and I didn't want to bother you too much, but I was like,
That's a good friend.
I was like, you good though?
I knew it was
friend.
I knew it was a non-issue though, but I was just like,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
You're having fun with it. It is fun in a way. You're on the ride.
It is
I mean,
fun,
you guys
yeah.
had that too, right? In like the courting process, I'm sure there was a lot of like nervousness and a lot of moments where you thought like, is this gonna continue to grow or are we gonna hit like an impasse
A
or
lot.
something?
And I also think it's a really good sign if you get anxiety because I think when you stop caring, it's a really bad sign,
yeah,
right?
you want to be
It's like-
invested. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
Nice.
good
I've been
call.
with my wife 8 years. I still have to explain jokes to her all the time.
Really?
And sometimes I'll send a text and I'm like, ooh, is she going to get that?
Oh,
I mean, it
nice,
still happens. So,
dude. That's huge.
yeah, it's fine.
You know what else I think is passive aggressive? Instead of texting back if you just like something. That's my way of going,
Right.
I'm kind of upset right now.
Right. Totally.
Nice. Who's your legend of the week?
It sounds like such a weird thing. I was in line for coffee. Does it have to be someone famous?
No.
I was in line at Cafe Lux, my favorite coffee shop in LA. It's so good. And this guy was in front of me and he was like this peaceful like force. And I loved his energy and he had this vest on with like doggy treats to each side. And I was like, "Sir, can I have a card?" And he's like, "I don't carry cards." Like he spoke very softly. And I was like, "'Cause I have this crazy Portuguese water dog and I really need you to chill her out." And she has since been really mellow. My dog went from like jumping all over the place to like super chill. And he's just transformed her with his magic. So
Nice.
this dope dog walker. I think it's called Happy Dog Service. I'm going to check it out. But he's my legend of the week.
Let's go. That's nice.
Sure, he's not just giving your dog weed.
Is he dosing him?
Happy Dog Service. It's Bernardo. Bernardo's my legend of the week.
Whatever he's giving your dog, it's high quality. My legend of the week is Logan Paul.
Nice.
Dude, I don't know. I think he just keeps winning. You know what I mean? I mean, because we made so much fun of him after the Japanese dead body thing, where he showed someone who had committed suicide, like their body in the background of a video. And he's like, "Oh, dude, that was fucking crazy," which was not a good reaction. But then I was thinking about it more. We almost had a run-in with a biker gang. We were shooting like a biker video and then we went up to a biker gang, like a pretty notorious one. And we were like, "Hey, could we shoot like a little video with you guys?" And they were like, "Are you out of your mind?" And then a guy who worked at like a Harley Davidson place. And the guy who worked there was like, "Hey, you can't shoot with them. Like they'll stab you." And then we were like, "Okay, yeah, we'll get out of here." And then it made us all talk about how the Rolling Stones used to hire the Hells Angels to do security for them. And then they ended up killing a guy at Altamont. And I was like, that's way worse than what Logan Paul did. And that's like the 10th thing people talk about with the Rolling Stones. It's like, if you just keep going people will forget about your huge mistake. Now, granted, the Rolling Stones have like, Sympathy for the Devil and like Give Me Shelter and all these beautiful songs. And Logan Paul doesn't really have something like that. But I don't know. I just think the guy just keeps going. So he's my legend of the week. And after the fight, he was like, I hate being an asshole. And I like kind of believed him. And I was like, I don't know. I think I like Logan Paul. He went 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. I'm like, I don't know. He's kind of a legend.
For sure.
He's never going to be my favorite guy, but.
No, he definitely came out on top.
Yeah, he survived too. Yeah, not a good night for boxing. Not good for boxing. What's your quote of the week, Chad?
My quote of the week is actually from yesterday. We were trying to shoot this video. And can I mention the biker club?
I wouldn't mention their name. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're that. Damn.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm scared. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta think of a new quote then.
Just say it. We're fine. Just say it. They're not going to hurt us. We're fine.
They might hurt us, dude.
They were pretty scary.
Did you tell them you watched Sons of Anarchy or?
The look of menace in their eyes.
Yeah. Let's see.
I respected it. I kind of wanted to be around it, but it did feel threatening.
Let's see. What am I?
They had their prospect, a guy who's trying to be in the gang, just sweeping after them.
Oh, wow.
And they were doing a big meeting. They're like, you don't want to shoot her anyways. Like the leader has cancer. They're doing like a fundraiser for him. I was like, what a sweet gang.
Yeah, maybe my quote is I don't have to say the name. This is my quote. This is from yesterday. Hey, do you mind if we just film us shooting this little Instagram ad for hard seltzer with you guys? No, they'll stab you.
Oh my
That's
God.
my quote.
What's your quote of the week?
Well, I just, like the nerd I am, I just Googled Virginia Woolf and I found a really good quote in keeping with all the message board stuff that we were talking about. The eyes of others, our prisons, their thoughts, our cages.
That's a good one.
Right?
I like
You
that.
Wolf. My quote of the week comes from Jim Kelly. He was a personal trainer that we all went to in high school. He was like a 6'4" dude from New York, strong and ripped, English major. And he actually ended up cutting me as one of his clients because I wasn't strong enough. And but
So insulting.
yeah, I also didn't show up sometimes, but basically it was because I didn't really have much prospects athletically. So I ended up working out with one of his proteges who I ended up becoming really good friends with, all for the best. But Jim at some point was like feeling wayward in training and he wanted to try something else. So he started writing a crime book and he named one of the characters after my friend Andrew. And then one day Jim came to the gym and he was like, I changed the name from Andrew Johnson. It was too cookie cutter. His name now is Vincenzo Vega. And I was like, this book's going to rip. So that's my quote of the week. Andrew Johnson, too cookie cutter. Chad, what's your phrase of the week for getting after it?
My phrase of the week for getting after it is let's hit the NOS. And Mason, you just got a NOS tank.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
You got a Nas tank?
You got a NOS tank.
Like in your car?
No.
Oh. Just like as like an artifact from the film?
Yeah.
Oh, very chill.
$150 on eBay.
That's a great purchase.
And I double clutched and I texted Chad and I was like, should I buy this? It seems like a stupid waste of money. And he was like, you gotta do it.
Let's go. What's your phrase of the week for getting after it?
Oh, damn it. You guys. What does our trainer say all the time? We work out with this trainer who's really awesome. He's getting us jacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
His name's Aaron Lautman. You guys, I'm pulling a blank.
Pulling a blank is a good one.
Pulling a blank?
Yeah. I'm pulling a blank. I can see
pulling a
that
blank.
firing some people up.
I'm pulling a blank.
Or does he say, come on, let's get 10? Is that something he says?
Let's get 10? No, he doesn't say let's get 10.
Does he have an accent?
He doesn't have an accent. Kind of New York accent, actually.
Like Jim.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll do mine real quick, and then if you don't have one, we can figure it out.
Yeah.
One time, Jim left a message on the trainer he cut me to's answering machine, and he was quoting the movie Ronin, and he goes, "Hey, Tej, I was watching the movie Ronin, and someone asked him if he ever killed somebody, and Robert De Niro, it's a hitman, like criminal. He goes, you ever killed anyone? He goes, nah, but I hurt someone's feelings once. And then Jim on the answering machine just went, and hung up. But that is a great line from the movie Ronin, written by David Mamet, I think, under a pseudonym. What's your phrase of the week? You ready?
You know what just reminded me of? a movie we would watch all the time on the set of Annapolis, Team America.
Funny movie.
Remember that?
So funny.
And America, fuck yeah. Over and over again.
That's a good phrase of the week.
Fuck yeah.
America, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear that enough now, too,
That's-
you know?
You know, and that's another thing my son quotes all the time. He gets like very like pro-American, and he's like, you can do that in America, Mom. And I'm like, Julian, you're 7. Like, relax. Also, like, that's not something you want to be saying.
But that passion is very healthy.
The passion's very healthy. It's, misdirected somewhat, but yeah. So
Maybe he'll heal
fuck
America
yeah.
into the version that we always dreamed of.
I hope so.
Through Strider's stewardship.
Yes, through Strider's stewardship, yes. Because you'll probably have to edit this out, but he'll also be like, Mommy, I can't have a play date with that girl. Her dad's a transporter. Like, he'll say stuff
really?
like he's very precocious.
Nice.
I feel like Strider could be like, I always look to like sort of mentors in my life as sort of the Harry Stamper, like Bruce Willis in Armageddon. Mm-hmm. I feel like Strider could be that for Julian.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
he definitely is.
He'll be on the next one, too, when we all get together. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Get some more mics in here. All right, well, that was it.
Awesome, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
That was
Yeah,
really fun.
that was really fun.
Mason, thanks for coming in.
And I've listened to all, what are we at, 189? What are we at?
This will be 191.
191.
You knowing that is so freaking nice, dude.
Yeah, that's so cool.
All right.
So wait, am I
This is
192?
Top tier.
Top tier.
I think this is the best one ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited.
Bella should also be super flattered. She was mentioned at least like 5 times.
Oh yeah, she's getting a lot of airtime.
It's gonna be the first time she's heard my impression of her. She's not gonna be happy.
All right. Nice.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you guys.
Thanks,
This
yeah.
was really fun.
Yeah, that was so fun.
These guys are really not